Previously on the Rod Peterson Show.
Andrew Stute watching it remind me, he wanted me to ask Jabari, but I don't think the football guys care as much about this as what a guy like you might.
Okay.
He says, what are your thoughts on the CFL showing games on YTV like the NFL does with Nickelodeon? Now, he might because he's got kids himself, and I'll get to that in a moment. But the thing that's sticking in my craw somewhat, and I don't really care, but is the 4-down thing and how upset people are getting. And it jarred in my mind because Jeff, the Stamps fan, says this is day 4 of the Alex Singleton watch. And I'm like, are you watching to see which NFL team he signs with or praying that he comes back to Calgary, which they probably are. But I saw Alex retweet with a no with regards to the 4-down thing.
Yeah.
Buddy, when they went to 3-on-3 overtime in the NHL or shootouts, do you remember this degree of furor?
I know.
From hockey fans?
I'm
never watching again if they go to a shootout. Those pricks.
It's not
What?
hockey. It's not hockey.
No, I'm really? Really?
Yeah.
This is really affecting your life to the degree that it is, that you'll burn up your season tickets and you want Randy Ambrosie fired and you're saying all these horrible things about the people that run the league when they're really just trying to save it. I remember mild grumbling. I had an opinion on shootouts and 3-on-3. I did, believe me, but I didn't lose any sleep over it. And there are people that are just coming unhinged, triggered, 4 downs. My God, I wish the problems in my life were so small that would get me that upset.
I know.
Get ready for the Rod Peterson Show.
Absolutely awesome to see you down in Florida, Roddy. Unfortunately, you are at the grind, working. LOL. Enjoy it, man. You deserve it.
How about that?
Listen, please don't feel sorry for me. Darren, do you feel sorry for me that I got to work?
I feel sorry for me.
Exactly. Kind of a life that I could settle into.
Oh,
real
yeah.
well.
Fun, sun, and surf. It's the Rod Peterson Show.
It sure is. Hello, Canada and Canadian sports fans around the world, including those down here in sunny South Florida. That's right, we're back in our regular environs for a while. And the Moose is in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. It's a very big day. We've got breaking news, NHL Trade Deadline stuff coming down. We've had a huge trade within the last 30 minutes or so. You're on, Moose. You're on, Moose, and I appreciate you coming on. I know you're feeling a little under the weather today, coming out of a very big weekend. Are you going to be able to pull through? Are you going to be able to tough it out, grind it out?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I can play through it.
Okay. Appreciate it. This is episode number 720 of your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk show. And coming up on the program today on this NHL Trade Deadline Day, Florida Panthers longtime radio analyst Bill Lindsay, one tough SOB, pride of Fernie, BC, and Whitefish, Montana. Bill Lindsay coming up on the program today to talk about the moves in the NHL, and also Jeff Paterson to do the same from Vancouver Canucks coverage from long time past. Before we jump into the quick 6 show topics, did you, Darren, upload photos for the weekend photo album? Did you?
That's a hard no. But my weekend was exciting, but far less exciting than yours.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go. We have it. That's why they pay me, not to just look pretty. The RP photo album for Great Western Brewing Company, the best beer in the game. This was on Saturday. One last look at beautiful Calgary as we slid out of there. We will be back April 11th. Miss you, Calgary, but we'll be talking about you lots. What else we got there, guys? Look at this. Couple of signed Connor Bedard jerseys. I have no idea what these suckers are worth. I guess we're going to find out at the Grey Eagle Resort and Casino Golf Tournament coming up June 20th at Bears Paw. For details, DM us, and we'll get you into that golf tournament. That'll go up on the silent auction as we raise a lot of money for a really wonderful cause. And I think the last photo we have is back here. Yes, indeed, on the beach. Didn't take long, 28 degrees Celsius, and we're enjoying it, and we're ready to talk hockey. All right, again, the Great Western RP Show photo album is brought to you by Great Western Original 16 Beer, the best beer in the game. All right, can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan? Please and thank you. As you can tell, Moose, I'm feeling punchy. I'm happy because back down here and big news. NHL Trade Deadline. Got my gong back. I don't have the bell, but the gong will suffice. The Minnesota Wild addressed their inconsistent goaltending situation by acquiring Marc-Andre Fleury in a trade with the Chicago Blackhawks Monday morning. The deal was confirmed by a source on the condition of anonymity, blah, blah, blah. The Wild are in the midst of a tightly contested Western Conference playoff race and began the day third in the Central Division. In Fleury, they had a three-time Stanley Cup winner who at 36 won his first Vezina as the NHL's top goalie last year while playing for the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, I'm bringing you in for the analysis, Moose, because you're not just a pretty face either. I felt that the flower was the biggest piece out there. Our viewers said the same thing, right? A couple of weeks ago, we had that poll question, who's the biggest available piece? And it went down today. I didn't envision the flower going to Minnesota. From the coverage that I've seen already this morning, he's only interested in finishing the year with Minnesota. He's on an expiring contract, and he'll look to play somewhere else next year, unless this is a wonderful conclusion to this season and this contract for him in Mini. So the poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, before we go any further, is, you want to throw it up, who has improved their team the most in advance of the trade deadline? And I didn't even run this by our crew. We forgot to talk about it in the morning meeting. I came up with it on my own. The Minnesota Wild today adding the flower. The Toronto Maple Leafs, who made a big splash on the weekend. The Florida Panthers. Or the Calgary Flames, who were very active ahead of the trade deadline. So if we can bring the Moose back in, and you can vote now on YouTube or Twitter. My vote's for Florida. Your Leafs got, as you know, Mark Giordano on the weekend. So over to you, Moose, on all of this, today's news, the Leafs move, and the rest.
Yeah, I think the Mark Giordano trade was a big one. You got a veteran on the back end. That really helps. They need to solidify, their defensive group. Ben Sherratt going to Florida, but I think it's this morning's Marc-Andre Fleury trade. I know he won the Vezina last year, so he still has a lot of game left in him. And Minnesota, we've seen them. I mean, they came through Western Canada when we were there. They've been really good this year. I think Minnesota is primed to contend, and goaltending was one area of concern for them. Now this kind of clears that up. So if Marc-Andre Fleury gives us anything close to what we've seen the last couple of seasons, Minnesota will be a contender.
Interesting you say that. By the way, tell your friends, and I see it, viewership going up as we are now on the air from South Florida and the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. That's where the Moose is residing today. I'll get to your good mornings and all the rest in a moment. You guys can continue to say hi to each other, but I got to move along. My vote is for the Florida Panthers because I'm in Florida. You saw that on the weekend I tweeted, hey, for the Flames, you can't be in the top 5 if you lose to Buffalo. Brian Dixon, one of our viewers, wrote me and said, you must be leaving town. I said, yeah. I sent him a photo from the airport. Got me! Anyways, hey, Sports Talk Radio this morning. If you go to my Instagram story, you'll see it. At Rod Peterson Official. They're talking about the Panthers. They're talking about the trade deadline on sports radio down here in South Florida. So the Panthers are in it to win it, and people that don't even follow the Panthers are all excited about getting Claude Giroux, which reminds me, we'll talk more about Giroux going to the Panthers later when Bill Lindsay joins us, the Panthers color guy, and was on that 96 run to the Stanley Cup final for Florida. But I want to talk to you about Mark Giordano. The Wire story here is this. Mark Giordano is going home. The Maple Leafs acquired the veteran defenseman and Toronto native along with center Colin Blackwell from the Seattle Kraken on Sunday for 2 second-round draft picks and a third-rounder. And I might throw in there that Claude Giroux was dealt to Florida on Saturday for first-round pick Owen Tippett, who's just a stud. A conditional 2024 first-rounder and a 2023 third-round pick. A 2023 third-round pick. Here's my thing on Giordano. And obviously you're going to say, the Leafs are in it to win it. I hear he's a great guy. I've never met Mark Giordano, but this is what I know. Don't at me. But for years we've said the Flames have had a culture problem. Giordano leaves in the expansion draft, and all of a sudden the Flames are running away with the Pacific Division and are a Stanley Cup contender. I'll preface it again, or repeat, I don't know Mark Giordano, but I know guys that have coached him. I know things that have been said in one-on-one meetings between the two that makes me believe that although he is a captain and they wouldn't put a C on a guy that's a tremendous leader, come on. 2 + 2 adds up to 4 in this case. He's gone. Flames are a contender. Obviously, the Leafs feel otherwise. They wouldn't have done their homework on him and come to the result that they don't want him. They want him, Darren, but that's just what I see. What do you think?
Yeah, that's interesting, and you wonder how much is it other external factors, Daryl Sutter and whatnot, and just that group. But I mean, you're right. You don't put a C in a guy unless he's a great leader. But it might not just be a coincidence that now the Flames are rolling and their dressing room seems to be pretty good and pretty clean and pretty tight. Now you look at other hockey guys. Ron Francis thought enough of Mark Giordano to make him the selection and put the C on him in Seattle. So there's that. They think highly enough of him in Toronto to bring him in. We'll see, right? What happens with the Maple Leafs. If they can't deal with adversity and their locker room starts to become an issue, then maybe we will question this move. But, on the surface, I like it.
Of course, you're a Leafs fan. But at a dinner party last night in Dodge City, and you saw the photos, that's on my social media too, they were talking about, Joe Thornton's been added to the Panthers, and he brings veteran leadership. And I'm like, well, he didn't do squat for the Leafs last year. And the feeling down here is, well, that's Toronto. They ruin everybody. Sorry. So,
not wrong.
So to circle back around on Giordano, I want to hear from the Alberta peeps. We've exploded in Alberta just in time for us to head out of there for a few weeks before we go back. How do you feel about this? I'll say it again. You're captain should be, at least I look at the captains in the past, Messier, Gillies, Potvin, the cornerstone of your franchise. If you're a winning franchise and you remove Giordano and you get better. So that's my take on that. And then for the Winnipeg people watching, Mason Appleton is back with the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets have acquired him from the Seattle Kraken for a 4th-round pick in the 2023 NHL draft. The 26-year-old from Green Bay, Wisconsin, had 6 goals and 11 assists in 49 games for the Kraken this season. He was selected by Seattle in last year's NHL expansion draft. So with that move, I'm like, I knew you didn't want to leave him. You didn't want to lose him in the expansion draft, so you got him back. You don't want to lose anybody in the expansion draft. Your players are your players. You love them for a reason. I've been involved in a lot of expansion drafts in both pro football and hockey. You don't want to lose guys. What does that move signal for Winnipeg? They didn't really sell off and they didn't really buy. And, your thoughts on the Jets here at the deadline?
Yeah, it didn't really do much, right? They get a player they like, but that's about it. Not selling, not buying, just kind of staying pat. And this group needs to either go on a run or make some moves in the next few hours, right? As we get closer to the deadline. It's hard to get a read on what they're doing in Winnipeg right now. And that's a tough spot to be when you've got all these guys who have done so well for you and got you into the playoffs and made you a contender, but you're underperforming. Well, do you believe in that group that they can get it together down the stretch and go on a streak and get in and be contenders? Or that's the really tough decision to try and blow it up. So I don't know what they're going to do here the rest of the day.
Again, folks, you're welcome to chime in with your comments, but it's not yet viewer takeover for Taco Time. My point, too, Moose, was Sunday NHL leftovers, but because it's trade deadline day Monday, I'm so over Sunday, so let's move on to point 3. And that is Deshaun Watson's complicated past didn't dissuade the Cleveland Browns from betting on the quarterback's future. He is on Cleveland's roster, and at this point, that's the only certainty with a talented yet controversial quarterback. Deshaun Watson's stunning trade to the Cleveland Browns became official Sunday, capping a whirlwind few days during in which the 3-time Pro Bowler, accused by 22 women of sexual harassment or assault, agreed to come to Cleveland after initially telling the team he wouldn't. The Browns are taking heat for bringing in Watson with his legal baggage, but the team feels comfortable with its decision. Desperate to win, the Browns have gone all in for Watson, sending first-round picks for the next 3 seasons to Houston. This better work. Along with a 2023 third-rounder and a 2024 fourth-rounder. Cleveland is also giving Watson, who's still facing civil lawsuits, public scorn and possible NFL discipline, a fully guaranteed $230 million contract. Now, there's more. I'll just throw in that Atlanta, Carolina, and New Orleans were all trying to get a hold of Deshaun Watson, too, via trade. You can sit and debate all you want whether this is right or wrong. It's in my commentary today on Cat Country, Rock 98.5, and rodpeterson.com. If you're expecting sports teams to do what's right, you're going to be waiting a real long time, and that's not a new thing. That's always been a thing in pro sports. It just is. Just win, baby. But in this case, I really think, Moose, that this is going to blow up in the Cleveland Browns' face for two reasons. One, it always does. And two, we talked about this a bit on Friday, but Baker Mayfield, I believe, is a franchise quarterback. They stunned the world when they took him number 1 overall, and if I may, he took him to the playoffs, took him to a playoff win. From all accounts, he's a great person. He's the kind of guy that you build around and is a franchise guy, and you ship him out for Deshaun Watson, who you got to defend before he even gets to Cleveland? Is he that much better than Baker Mayfield? Like, he's good. He's very good. We saw him live in Houston. You and I were there. Hosted a sports trip there. He's very good. But what is it worth? I think this blows up on the Browns. How about you?
Yeah, I'm not so sure. And I don't know if I was reading Peter King or if I was listening to some American talk. But they went back to when Deshaun Watson came to the NFL out of Clemson. And one scout and one league personnel had mentioned that he was one of the cleanest prospects to come out of college football. Cleanest in terms of personal reputation, in terms of rap sheet and all those types of things. One of the cleanest prospects to ever come out of the NCAA. Now, obviously, you give the guy a little bit of money. He wants to have a little bit of fun. And now he's getting into a little bit of trouble. Right, and he's got all the allegations. So I think there's a good person in there. I think he's made mistakes. I think he probably has a chance to now redeem himself and get back into the NFL. I don't know if Cleveland's the place to do it. It hasn't been a kind place for quarterbacks. It hasn't been a kind place, for players to spark their careers. But maybe for Deshaun it will. But, with Baker, I'm with you. I mean, he had a bad year. Okay, so we know that. He had a bad year. And now we're not sure about Baker Mayfield. But you're right. He seems like he's got a little personality. He came to your organization and not only made you a championship contender, got you into the playoffs. That doesn't happen in Cleveland. Like you said, won a game. That doesn't happen in Cleveland. So one bad year, I wouldn't be so quick to just close the book on Baker Mayfield either.
Well said, my friend. That's why we're a great team. You've made me walk back. We're all about second chances here. I get it. But I just think moving on from Baker Mayfield is, I think he's the guy. What was Deshaun Watson really doing for the Houston Texans before he got into all the trouble? He took them to the playoffs too, but they got destroyed in those playoffs. Anyway, I got to think about it a little more. John O'Flynn watching from Vancouver. I'm just gonging it because we haven't heard from John in a while. He says, hit the like button. I'm watching on Game Plus Network on TELUS Channel 924. Wow, well, thank you very much. That's out in Vancouver, Canada, where we're very popular on TELUS Optic TV. It's the preferred cable carrier in Western Canada. TELUS Optic TV in Alberta and BC. There's no doubt. I see that we have to take a break. We've got through 3 topics, Moose, so you sit tight. You're doing great, my friend. Hang in there. When we come back, we'll get to what the other people want to talk about. We covered hockey and football off the top. We've got NBA to get to. We've got the World Women's Curling to get to. I want to talk about some interesting weekend notes involving a rush, some junior hockey stuff, and how about those Blue Jays? How about those Blue Jays? We've got a lot to get to. We'll be right back. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus television network across all 10 provinces and 31 U.S. states. Live streaming on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming. The Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino Fancy.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Peterson Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Peterson Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Peterson Show.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Peterson Show.
Okay, we are back, and back in our usual environs for a while. Myself in South Florida and the Moose in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. We have viewer mail, Darren. I don't know if they forwarded this to you or not. We're going to get to it at some point today, not right here. But I always liked viewer mail. Remember when we used to read angry mail on the air? We don't get angry mail anymore.
Right.
I think it's because people that get offended at things that I say aren't watching anymore because they realize that I'm not changing. I don't know. But I will tell you this. Tough Tribe for Men was designed to meet the unique demands of clean professional grooming. The warm scent of a gentleman shampoo teams up with an invigorating cool peppermint conditioner. Top that off with a little beer and hair pomade to start your day, feeling fresh and confident. We're very confident men here. And that's thanks to toughtribeformen.com. That's the number 4, toughtribeformen.com. And Amazon Canada. And Moose, my Tough Tribe for Men pomade was confiscated at the border.
How about that?
What?
Oh, no.
Yeah. So if you notice my hair is a little out of sorts today, it's because I was 3 kilograms over on my bag checking in at the Calgary airport on the weekend, so I had to rifle stuff out of my bag into my carry-on, and that happened to be that jar of pomade, which was
too big,
over the limit. I'm like, if that's the biggest thing, I'll survive. But I remember driving around Calgary with Moose. I'm driving. He's got his notepad out or whatever you're doing. You always got that clipboard. And you're like, what do you need from Tough Tribe? What did I say?
More pomade. Unlimited pomade. Just keep sending the pomade.
That's right. I had a vision that I was going to have my pomade confiscated at the border. So when are we going to have that? When's it going to be?
It's on the way. So for the next time I see you, we'll have more pomade for you.
Hang on to it for me. Thank you. Okay, so we move on with the quick six. And don't let me forget before we get out of this segment to talk about our Bet Regal Game of the Weekend winner, because we have one. And I appreciate everybody who played. Just keep playing. We'll probably eventually get to you as a winner, but we have a winner coming out of the weekend. But point 4, the quick six show topics, Pascal Siakam had 26 points, and Precious Achiuwa scored 21 to lead the Raptors to a 93-88 win over the Philadelphia 76ers. Chris Boucher had 12 points and 14 rebounds. The Raps extended their road win streak to 6. Okay, so they're back to who we thought they were. Cool, but it's still Canada. It's NHL Trade Deadline. I've had enough NBA talk. To point 5. Carrie Einerson is back to a 500 record at the Women's World Curling Championship. She fell to 2-2 after losing 11-3 to Switzerland in Sunday's final round-robin session. Canada gave up a 4-point steal in the 6th and conceded the game. Silvana Turanzoni of Switzerland is the back-to-back defending champion. So there's that. More curling news coming up. As I read these funky names of Europe, Moose, I should tell you that I started to watch Drive to Survive on the weekend.
And?
I would suggest you and our consultant, Lee, raised the bar too high. It was pretty good. Does it speed up from the first episode? Or is the first episode indicative of the rest of the series?
Good question. No, I think it speeds up a little bit as you start to get to know the guys a little bit more. I think you'll get more into it as you go. Maybe, or maybe you won't.
I enjoyed it, but I wasn't like spending 40 hours binging it all weekend like some people we know.
Right.
But, yeah, I learned a lot of things already. This is the fastest motorsport in the world. I should have known that, but I didn't. I knew some of the names, but I didn't know their faces, right? So that was cool. And really, it's kind of like Talladega Nights on steroids.
That's a good way to put it.
Shake and bake. Jack Fulton, my guy Jack, he's watching in Vulcan, Alberta, and he says, Rod, I believe that the Flames' turnaround has more to do with the coaching change than Gio leaving, but I've been wrong once before. Jack, I've been wrong once before, too. I have the date somewhere in here, but it's way back. I'd have to go back and look. It's very possible. I'm just, watch me get nailed to the cross here for that take. But I'm just saying, Gio leaves in their first place in the Pacific. And now I know they were first place in all of the West Conference a few years ago when Gio was there. So I'm just putting it out, food for thought. Tacona Pally watching in Winnipeg says, happy birthday, Dale Howardchuk. We always got to recognize Ducky. And it was so awesome that we were there the day they unveiled the road, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Dale
so cool.
Howardchuk way. I'm reading the comments as we go. Ted Bluez, watching on YouTube, says the Habs are in sell-off mode, but they already have 13 picks in this year's draft. When is enough picks? Not sure you want to flood your system with a bunch of players the same age. Thoughts? Well, it's a clear plan, and it's a great question. Great question, Ted. For a guy that loves personnel like I do, and as do you, you know, the construction of teams, I think we all kind of like to get into that. I don't think you can have enough picks, and especially if you have faith in your scouting department. You know, and every team's different. Nick Suzuki wasn't drafted by Montreal. Josh Anderson wasn't drafted by Montreal. Shea Weber wasn't drafted by Montreal. But not every team's built exclusively through the draft either. If you have faith in your scouting staff, then the more picks, the better. So it clearly Kent Hughes. Let's give the guy just a little... like, that's Habs fans, right? They're nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And they know they're nuts. I don't have a problem with stockpiling picks. How about you?
I don't. I mean, I understand you don't want to have all guys the same age. You want to have a mix of veterans, of young players in the middle. But draft picks are assets, right? I mean, you're either going to use them to draft somebody that you really like, or you can use them to trade and get a veteran piece if you need that, or if you need somebody to fit your bottom six or a D-man or whatever. So they're assets you can use later. You might not use them to draft players. You might not keep them around a long time. So yeah, I think they're great. And everybody, here's the thing. We talk about, I'd rather take a proven player over a draft pick, right? But there's this allure of draft picks. If you've got a first-round pick, we have this allure that could be the next superstar in the league, right? Well, there's no guarantees when you go into the draft if you're going to make the right selection. So I like that. You can usually create a lot of value at a draft pick.
Look, you hate when I say this, but there's a lot of ways to skin a cat. What would you rather I said? What would be a better phrase than that?
There is a better one out there. I don't know what it is. I'd have to go to the big board.
You think about it and get back to me. But
I will.
I just know, because I've sat at so many draft tables, NHL, WHL, CFL, probably soon NFL, or at least maybe not at the table, but, well, some cases at the table, but close or on the floor. And there are sometimes teams that get up and leave before their picks are done. You get to the 9th, 10th round of some of these drafts, and they're like, okay, close their book. I've found the best teams they pick until their picks are gone. Shocked when GMs get up for we're done for the day. Sir, you have 3 picks left. We're good. Never quite figured that out. But, hey, again, more than one way to skin a cat. But you're right. Picks are assets. Picks are players. That's what I think people don't understand. When picks go in a trade, that is players. And if you have faith in your scouting department, it's just important as getting a player. Anyways, moving on. Jennifer at the Four Seasons says, my Pats got their butts kicked on Saturday. My God, that was terrible. Connor kept his streak going, though. And before I address that, Nelson Hackowicz writes in on the Drive to Survive, and he says, it was a good doc, but not good enough to get me to wake up at 2 a.m. to watch F1 good. Dude, there ain't nothing getting me up at 2 a.m. to watch. I'm not 10 watching World Juniors anymore. I'm old. Wayne in BC. Victoria, BC watching. He says, do we really have to be that PC that you can't say skin a cat? Wow. Yeah, we do. Clark tells me he has the other sayings.
So
what are they? Oh,
yeah.
Here we go. Can you read them, Darren?
So this actually, I had pulled this up a long time ago. These are actually from PETA. Okay, they had tweeted this out. It's hilarious. So instead of saying "kill 2 birds with 1 stone," you're supposed to say "feed 2 birds with 1 scone."
How about that?
That's the real thing.
Is this for real?
Instead of beat a dead horse, you're supposed to feed a fed horse.
How about that?
And there's others on the screen. So
I've gotten heck for saying that beat a dead horse thing. I don't even want to say from whom, because she's a regular viewer of the show. But I'm like, come on, give me a break. I'm not. Yeah, done. I have Blue Jays coming up. See, I told you this morning on the phone that we would have so much to talk about.
Oh,
so
yeah.
the Pats got spanked in Moose Jaw Saturday. The Pats fans are all upset, and it's predictable. I'm sorry. Can I talk about my guilty pleasure, junior hockey, major junior hockey? Although I love junior A too. I belong to this Pats Facebook group, and the Pats get spanked in Moose Jaw 10-4, and I'm like, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Who are they to charge so much for season tickets? The Pats are overpriced. They're greedy. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, yeah. Why do I do it? Why do I go in and look at this stuff? See, they got thumped in Moose Jaw. The Moose Jaw's the better team. What did you think was going to happen? I was praying that it wouldn't happen. We used to say, when I was with the Pats, and I won't say who else, but we're like, as long as we got Eberle and a goalie, we're good. If we leave these guys behind in this restaurant, if we leave these guys in this gas station here in the middle of nowhere, we're good. As long as we got Eberle and a goalie. I've told you that, right? And now it's Bedard in a goalie. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes I don't even have the goalie. So that's my take on the Pats. Enough about that. They're just not that good. I'm actually shocked they're even close to a playoff spot. So I wasn't disappointed the Pats got thumped in Moose Jaw 10-4 because I wasn't expecting anything different. And now over to you, to the Saskatchewan Rush, who won, what was it, 9-4 against Rochester
9-6.
Saturday? All I saw was the highlights. I was showing the Dodge boys the fights. The kids were around my phone. They're like, oh, this is awesome. I'm like, yeah, baby, it's NLL. And Brad, the second of the four kids, he's like, this is violent. He wants to play now. Lacrosse. Looked like a fun night.
It was a great night. Chris Corbeil, the captain, chucked the mitts, and it was awesome. It was really great. The Rush got out to a 5-0 lead in the first quarter and hung on for a 9-6 win. I thought they played pretty well. The goaltending was awesome. The crowd was great. Aaron Prichette did a concert post game, so it was awesome.
Hold my beer.
Spend some time with him. Yeah, he was great, and that's still his favorite song to perform. I thought that would get tired, but I asked him that. It's his favorite one.
It's the Rebel Rouser. All right, yeah. Moose, I'll see you back in hour 2.
Later.
We've literally covered it all except the Toronto Blue Jays. So here we go from Dunedin, Florida. Alejandro Kirk homered and doubled for the Blue Jays in a 10-4 win over the Pittsburgh Pirates on Sunday at TD Ballpark. Greg Bird and newly acquired third baseman Matt Chapman also went deep for the Blue Jays, who had 10 hits on the day. Starter Anthony Kay allowed 1 earned run over a single inning of work. The Blue Jays, who used 8 pitchers on the day, improved to 2-1 in spring training. I'll be taking in some spring training baseball while I'm down here, there's no doubt. Don't have time to get to the viewer mail. It pertains to the CFL. We'll do that coming back in hour 2. Bill Lindsay on the way from the Florida Panthers radio crew. Later on, Jeff Paterson from Vancouver Canucks fame. You're watching a brand new week of the RP Show live from South Florida on Game Plus TV, YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Alice Cooper, the godfather of shock rock, is back. With special guest Buck Cherry. Mosaic Place, Sunday, April 10th. Get tickets now at mosaicplace.ca and sasktix.ca.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
It's a Monday. We're back on the air, and we're back in South Florida. And just ahead of Bill Lindsay, I was talking before the break about leaving players behind in a restaurant, in a hotel, in a gas station somewhere. And the Hockey Club podcast, Corey Paterson's watching in Tallahassee, Florida, and he says, I was left in a restaurant a time or two. Well, I guess you weren't that important, Patty. We used to say, do we have Eberle and a goalie? We're good. Let's go. And that's the way the Pats are with Connor Bedard. And we'll get to that in a moment and more, plus our winner of the Bet Regal contest over the weekend. Viewers asked to pick a game, pick the winner, and we got ours. Bill Lindsay played 777 NHL games. He is from Fernie, BC. And he played in the Western Hockey League with the Tri-City American. Look at this, smiling. Of course you're smiling. How about these Panthers, Bill? Hey, welcome to the program again. Did you ever get left behind by the team anywhere?
Thanks, Rob. I had some unique trades. When I got traded to Montreal from the Panthers, Montreal was in town, so I traded dressing rooms. So I didn't get left behind, but I just took my bag from one locker room to the other locker room. Actually took the morning skate with the Panthers. Then played that night with the Montreal Canadiens. That was kind of unique. Never got left behind anywhere in a trade. Let me think of some of my trades that I was going through. Never got left behind. Had some quick plane flights, though, when I got traded after being a longtime Florida Panther to Calgary, get to opening night, they called, said I was traded. I was on a plane later that day, I believe, to make it into Calgary for the opener the next day. So things happen quickly when you get traded. I never left behind, but when you get traded, you got to figure out what's happening very quick because you got to get your bags, try and figure out where you're going to live and all that kind of stuff. So it gets a little confusing.
Oh, yeah, it's literally traumatic. And by the way, I was left behind by the Saskatchewan Roughriders in Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton a few years ago. That's a story for another time, but man, it's great to talk with you and all this. And we'll get to the Panthers in a second, but this morning, Marc-Andre Fleury goes from Chicago to Minnie, and the Wild are playing Vegas tonight. They're saying that Flower might start for the Wild tonight. I didn't see him going to Minnesota. Your thoughts on that trade?
It's interesting. I didn't see him going to Minnesota either, but it's a team that's capable, and the goaltending has been an issue in Minnesota. Bill Guerin, the GM there, with the salary cap restraints with Parisi and Suter moving on, and the salary cap restraints that they're going to have moving forward, this is an opportunity with the team that they have assembled to make a move for a goaltender like Marc-Andre Fleury. They can fit him in with some cap space this season. So from the Minnesota side, if you want to take a chance and try and win it, it makes sense. Marc-Andre Fleury comes in there. That's a really good team. You look at the way they're built and the depth that they have. It's just been the inconsistency in goal that has cost Minnesota some points in the standings. Marc-Andre Fleury is very capable, knows what it takes to do, and Cam Talbot's played a ton of games. So they got a good good goaltending duo, and we'll see what happens now in the Western Conference. But it to me, it's still pretty wide open in the West. Colorado has emerged as the elite favorite, but a team like Minnesota with a goaltender like Fleury, they have a chance to move on and move forward.
To the Panthers, because we brought you on to talk about the Panthers. Let's talk about who's coming in Claude Giroux, longest-serving captain in Philadelphia Flyers history. What is he going to do for the Florida Panthers?
Brings a lot. We had a hole in the top six that we needed filled. We had that good third line with Marchment, Lundell, and Reinhardt that was just playing really good hockey. And then we had Huberdeau, Declare, and Bennett as the line, and then you had Verhaeghe and Barkov, and you had something missing there with Barkov and Verhaeghe. So Claude Giroux is going to fit into that top six. It's a perfect fix. We needed someone there to play alongside Barkov. Even if you want to load up Huberdeau and Barkov on the same line, you could put down there and put Giroux in the middle, but between Verhaeghe and players like Bennett, that could happen. So it's got some flexibility. Andrew Burnett's got a ton of flexibility with the lineup. Panthers not very good in the face-off circle. Claude Giroux's run over 58% in his last 5 years, 60% this year. He's going to help a ton in the face-off circle. That's maybe an overlooked detail of Claude Giroux, the leadership that he provides. So he brings a lot of everything, but there was a hole in that top six, and it's the 1 year too with the Panthers, with Barkov's extension kicking in next year. Likely the year after that, Huberdeau is going to have an extension. This is the window to go for it. It's wide open, and Bill Zito and the ownership, you got to give them a ton of credit. They've green-lighted everything, and Bill Zito's been aggressive. Got Sherratt, got Giroux, filled the holes, and he might not be done yet. We'll see what happens at the end of the day, but Giroux brings a ton.
Fortune favors the bold, but I got to talk about what's gone the other way. I've watched almost every Panthers game this year. Owen Tippett is a stud, and Frank Vetrano just seems like a character guy that the fans love. Bill, it had to be hard to see them go.
Yeah, it's tough to see them go, but it's a good chance if you're a player like Vetrano, you go over to the Rangers, and he was having trouble fitting into our lineup and just getting that consistency. He was a healthy scratch at points, but he goes to the Rangers. That's a playoff team, gets to play aside Panarin last night, which is a good chance for him. Had the empty net goal, 15 and a half minutes. So from a player standpoint, it's tough to see guys like that move on to other teams. But if you're a player like Vetrano and you're not having a chance with the Panthers, you get an added chance with a playoff team like the New York Rangers. He's excited, and those are some. I've been traded a lot. That's part of the business. And Tippett's a guy that's got to learn to play the defensive side of the puck, the 200-foot game, the little details, winning 50-50 battles, winning board battles. He gets a chance, does that stuff. He'll be a consistent 20-goal scorer in the NHL. But that was the problem with the Panthers and Owen Tippett, is just that he just trying to refine, and this team's trying to win now. And we just didn't have the opportunity and ice time to give him to get him along to learn that defensive side of the puck and do all those little things that's necessary to be a top forward in the NHL. It just wasn't coming along at the rate that you need to develop. So you move him on, that's a piece. And if it works out for Philadelphia, that's a good move for Philadelphia. But Giroux and the Panthers win now mode, you have to give up something to get something.
I was just going to say that. But you see Tippett, and it's just raw, all the talent. You see it, right? So good luck to him and the Flyers. Yeah. And lastly, Bill, I got to say this. I called 1,400, yeah, for sure. I called almost 1,400 games in the Western Hockey League, so I'd like to think I know broadcasting. And I listen to you do these games, and I love it. I love it. A lot of times I'm driving in my Jeep, and you'll say something, and I'll look at the radio and say, you can't say that anymore. Do you ever get, like, politically correct stuff, right? Do you ever get in trouble for things that you say? I think it's amazing. But, or they just let you rock on there?
Yeah, we can rock and roll, try some things out. I don't step over the boundaries. I know where the boundaries are as far as some of the stuff that everything is as far as political. I'm not going to get into politics or with the stuff, but I like to have fun with some sayings and comments and go from there. So we try and make it a fun broadcast for the team down in South Florida. It's not Toronto. It's not the market that's Toronto or Vancouver, a Canadian market where maybe there are some stricter standards. We got a great team. Just want to have some fun with it as much as possible.
Oh yeah, well, it's not like you're Howard Stern or anything. You're not swearing or whatever.
No.
But it's just some things that make But like, there was one game you're like, the puck is like a grease pig down there, and I'm like, does anybody here know what a grease pig is? We know what it is in Western Canada, but I'm just telling you that I enjoy it, and I've talked to Moles and Plagans and Goldie, but I have yet to bump into you in the press box. Yeah, absolutely. He's worse. Stuff. Absolutely. Well, I'll look you up. March 29th, the Panthers are back right at home. The first game back since to Montreal, so I'll look you up. Bill, always enjoy the visit. Thanks for this.
All right, thanks for the time. I appreciate it. Yeah, at the rink, come up there and we'll get together. Enjoy the stretch run.
Awesome.
It should be fun.
Can't wait. Longtime NHLer Bill Lindsay, 777 games and part of that famed 96 Florida Panthers team. Viewer Takeover is next. On the way, Jeff Paterson from Vancouver Canucks radio fame. You're watching the RP Show live from South Florida on the Game Plus television network across all 10 provinces and 31 states. Live streaming on YouTube, and if you missed any portion of the show, catch our podcast wherever you enjoy your podcasts, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Comfort has always been something we, as people, strive for. It means that the places we live and work, and that the people we care most about, are able to go about their lives, focusing on the things that matter. Our focus at FlameTech has remained the same for more than 20 years. Now more than ever, we need each other to support our local businesses. As an industry leader in combustion services, we are proud to attend to the needs of our communities and support the local economy.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. We'll treat you right. Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Peterson.
Welcome back, everybody. RP Show continues on this Monday. It is viewer takeover time, brought to you by Taco Time, because that's what we do. Over 120 locations across Canada. So let's do it. Jennifer from the Four Seasons regarding first-round picks and Owen Tippett being a first-round pick of the Florida Panthers, shipped to Philly for Claude Giroux. Jennifer says Edmonton has had 5 first-rounders and the only quality player is McDavid, so sometimes quantity doesn't mean quality when it comes to picks. As I said, there's nothing about you, Jennifer. If you have faith in your scouting department, more picks the better. Edmonton's had a revolving door of scouts in and out of there. Edmonton is a grease fire. Sorry to tell you. And speaking of, John in Edmonton writes in and he says the Oilers have announced a trade. Oilers have acquired Brett Kulik. Details to be announced. That doesn't exactly blow your skirt up, does it? Can we say that, Moose? If Edmonton doesn't get a goalie, man, I'd be pretty upset if I was an Oilers fan. Like, look at Minnesota. They're finding a way to get it done. Let's hear from the Oilers fans. I would be pretty upset if I was you, which reminds me, the poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, with dealerships all across the prairies, which team has improved itself the most ahead of the trade deadline? Calgary Flames, Florida Panthers, Toronto Maple Leafs, or Minnesota Wild, or somebody else? Leading the way right now is the Florida Panthers. How about that? And as Bill Lindsay just said, come on up to the press box. Come on, say hi. This playoff run's going to be fun. Could we actually be recipients of such great timing that the Calgary Flames would meet the Florida Panthers in the playoffs, in the Stanley Cup final, and we're going back and forth between the two cities? Can you imagine? Jason in Red Deer earlier on says, why would you feed a horse that's already fed? No kidding, right? Stupid. That's why we don't listen to PETA. I'm sorry. Hang on to that thought, Nelson Hakowicz, our VP of Sim Events. He says, imagine this team if they build around Connor. Are we talking the Oilers and Connor McDavid, the Jets and Kyle Connor, or the Pats and Connor Bedard? Please tell me you're not talking about Connor Bedard, because the window's almost closed. You're going to have him for one more year and a half. Upsets me. This is a missed opportunity. Can you imagine if they missed the playoffs this year with Connor Bedard? Last minute of play in hour 1. I don't have time to get to a sports update here. I want to mention the winner of the Bet Regal gift package is Randy from the Peg, who said the game of the weekend, his featured game of the weekend was the Rangers and the Lightning. He picked the Rangers to win, and they won. It's not that hard to play, everybody. Just text us on Fridays. The featured game you'll be watching the most on the weekend, pick the winner of it. And if you do, you'll go into a draw and randomly be selected to win a Bet Regal prize package, maybe like the bunny hug that Moose is wearing today. Yeah, that's going out to Randy. Just don't have time to get to this sports update. We will open hour 2 with it, looking ahead at tonight's action in the NHL, recapping this trade deadline day in the National Hockey League. So much fun. It's going so fast today. We'll be right back after this break on Game Plus TV.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air. that's a lot of prime. Oh, big time, big time, big time, big time. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino fancy.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar Buying Group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Absolutely awesome to see you down in Florida, Roddy. Unfortunately, you are at the grind, working. LOL. Enjoy it, man. You deserve it.
How about that?
Listen, please don't feel sorry for me. Darren, do you feel sorry for me that I got to work?
I feel sorry for me.
Exactly. Kind of a life that I could settle into.
Oh, yeah.
Fun, sun, and surf. It's the Rod Peterson Show.
It sure is, and that's the scene in South Florida, everybody. We are back for a while, and you are watching your favorite daytime sports and entertainment show, the RP Show on Game Plus Television. Thanks for joining in. We're hearing from a lot of our viewers. Today we're having a lot of fun. It is NHL Trade Deadline Day. What is it currently, 1 p.m. Eastern? 2 more hours until the trade deadline is over as we bring the Moose back in. Darren Moose Dupont, he is in the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. How you doing, Moose?
I'm doing really good. I got the Trade Center watching it a little bit in the break, but yeah, it's an exciting day in the NHL for sure. It always is.
You still have both headphones in, so that's a good sign. For the viewers that don't know, Darren's under the weather, feeling ill, and the cue was if he yanks his headphones out, I'm out. You seem to be doing just fine.
Yeah, we're doing okay. I got some tea going, so not so bad.
The show's going great. Everybody loves it, and I appreciate that. And I want to tell you something. I'm glad that you have TSN's NHL Trade Deadline coverage on. Clearly, I do not. But all of the talk here in South Florida is of a couple things. One, again, for those that just tuned in, the Florida Panthers are a hot topic on sports radio this morning. They're talking about it, and the Claude Giroux deal. People that don't even follow the Florida Panthers now say they're Florida Panthers fans. And I've got some thoughts on that, and that's fine. I'll get to that. But the other thing is, of course, March Madness. And I wanted to tell you this. You said that you hadn't been watching ESPN in the last 24 hours. You see that Arkansas has made the Sweet 16 in March Madness, and Charles Barkley has said if the Razorbacks go on to win it all, his alma mater, he'll take his shirt off. And everybody's like, no, Chuck. Nobody wants that. That's the big talk down here. I'm trying to keep it on the rails in terms of, me being a squirrel. And from Monday, I think I've done really well. But I have to say, a couple things have flooded my mind. One, people jumping on the Florida Panthers bandwagon. It's going to be fun. Did you watch the Bill Lindsay interview, man?
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a lot of fun. If this group can get it together and go on a run. The problem is it's just so difficult to get not only out of the conference, out of the division. And, last year, the Florida Panthers were a team that could have won a Stanley Cup. Problem is they had Tampa Bay in the first round, and we know how that went, right? They gave Tampa quite a run. So it all depends on your matchup. You got to get a little bit lucky, but this group seems to, be one who's learned a little bit, and maybe this is the year that they're ready to take the next step.
Well, we're going to be here for it regardless, and I hope it is a long run, and it was pretty cool that Bill Lindsay said, hey, come look me up in the press box, and you know me, Moose, I will. But it reminds me of something, because there's a lot of people, our analytics people say one of the top searched things is, who is Rod Peterson? So people are just discovering us for the first time. 720 shows in, Moose. They're just finding us now. And they didn't know that I spent 20 seasons as the voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders and 17 in the Western Hockey League. So I just want to say at the peak of Rider Pride, the absolute peak, I want to say was 09-10. We'd won the Grey Cup in 07, and then we were in Grey Cups in 09 and 10. We ended up losing them both. But that was the peak. Jim Hobson was our president, and I remember being at the Grey Cup in Edmonton, and it was green, Rider green, as far as the eye could see. And like all down Jasper Avenue and all over downtown Regina, or downtown Edmonton. I remember calling my mom in Milestone, Saskatchewan, tiny Milestone, Saskatchewan. And I'm like, Mom, I think every Rider fan in the world is here in Edmonton. And she's like, no, they're all here. I remember going out to West Edmonton Mall to get away from the madness. Scott Schultz and I went out on the Friday night. West Edmonton Mall packed with Rider fans. So I would, again, you know me, stop and ask people, hey, where are you from? Expecting they would say Norquay, Macklin, Turtleford.
Right.
Nipawin. No, it was Cambridge, Ontario. Why are you wearing a Rider jersey? Well, it's the thing to do. Flew out here for Grey Cup, and the thing to do is be a Rider fan. I remember playing the next year, I think, maybe it was 2 years later in Fort McMurray, coming home from, remember we played Edmonton in the preseason?
Yep.
And I remember flying back commercially, and there was I'm trying to remember, it was me, a lady, and Chris Getzlaff. And the lady was wearing a Rider jacket. And I'm like, oh, you from Saskatchewan? She's like, no, Newfoundland. What? You're cheering for the Riders in Fort McMurray? And she's like, what's the thing to do? That was at the peak of, and so what I'm saying is the Florida Panthers don't care if the bandwagon's getting full. This is my end to a very long story. They don't care. Buy your jerseys, buy your tickets, come on board, because it doesn't last forever. Now's the time. And just one more story, which I didn't mean to get derailed, but it came up last hour, right, about getting left behind by your team. Because I remember there was a broadcaster in the Western League. I can't remember who it was. You might know the story, but he got left behind in a gas station by the team. And I'm like, man, that would suck. He had to call a cab and cab it 2.5 hours because the team left him in the bathroom. I thought, how much would that suck? Then it happened to me at Commonwealth Stadium in 2018. First game, preseason game. That was the game that Getzlaff debuted with the Eskimos. And on that first drive, it was 4 straight passes to Getzlaff down the field, and he caught a touchdown to shove it down the Riders' throat. Remember that? Yeah. And then, I'm wrapping up the post-game show, and my color guy Luke's calling me yo, you better hurry up, man. The bus is leaving. I'm like, what? I'm wrapping up my post-game. He's like, they don't care. Wheels are turning. So I wrap up the post-game show, race down the stairs, the bus is gone. You know that feeling, Moose, where you just instantly start sweating?
Oh, yeah.
Because I knew they were going straight to the airport. They weren't going to the hotel. I'm calling cabs. Right. I'm checking Uber. I'm calling friends. I'm like, what the hell? I'm starting to think that I'm going to be stuck in Edmonton that night. And I didn't want that. Nothing against Edmonton, but I wanted to get home. And so anyways, ended up grabbing a cab. Commonwealth Stadium's not exactly near downtown. Had to run a couple blocks, hail one down, sweating like a hooker in church. And we're racing to catch up to the bus on the freeway down towards the airport. And I'll never forget, that cab finally caught the bus. And I'm waving out the back window. And Craig Dickinson is so special. He's beating on the window like, hi. And I'm like, no, I'm trying to catch up to you. You guys left me. Ended up making it, but that was the first preseason game of the year. And I knew that, I'm like, these guys don't care. This is going to be my last season with the Rough Riders. I knew it then. And that's what ended up happening. But have you ever been left behind?
Yeah, once. And
tell me.
It was in Larange. So the rule was we were going to Flin Flon that day for the next game in the SJ. I was doing SJHL games 2006 or 7. Can't remember exactly which year it was. But the rule was if the bus was leaving at 2 o'clock, it was pulling out at 2:05, no matter what. There was a 5-minute window. So they said the itinerary said leaving at 2. If you were there or not, the bus was leaving 5 minutes after that time, no matter what. So I was rooming with the trainer, and I was helping him pack up all his gear. And as we rolled out onto the balcony, we saw the bus pulling away. And so now what do we do, right? Same thing. So we go down to the lobby. Sure enough, there was 3 other players who missed the bus. We all hailed a cab in Larange, which at the time was a giant Astro van, and we had to cab it over. Luckily, the bus was just going to the pregame meal, though, at the restaurant. So we only had to take a 10-minute Uber ride or a bus ride or a cab ride over there. And we were able to get on the bus. And the penalty, and I was a broadcaster, the penalty for missing the bus was the 5 of us that missed the bus. We had to pack it that night after the game. So they waited till I was done my radio broadcast. I had to go down there and pack all the bags onto the bus at the end of the night. So that was that. But on yours,
just so you know,
only question I have about... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
The only question I have for you is you were doing your postgame show. If Luke's your color guy, what was he doing on the bus and not on the air with you?
Do you forget how things rolled back then? I was the ox pulling the cart. The whole cart. So, yeah, and by the way, I wasn't lollygagging. I'd done 400 of those post-game shows. I wasn't stretching it out. Anyways, there are a lot of people writing in on the Giroux trade. John in Edmonton writes in, he says, Riders president and CEO Craig Reynolds acknowledged that some unvaccinated fans have voiced their intention to spend their money elsewhere, still harboring hard feelings for their exclusion last season. That's their problem. I don't care about that. Wayne in Victoria says, that's quite the story, Rod. I didn't realize that we had people from Newfoundland jumping on our bandwagon. That's great. Yeah, Wayne, it was 10 years ago. Chop, chop, follow along. Ryan McCarthy in New York says, I was today years old when I learned there was a Turtleford, Saskatchewan. Again, Saskatchewan has great town names. Oh, my God, we could go on forever. How about that security guard at Grey Eagle the day we were packing up to leave? It's 111 Eastern, by the way. We're on the right track. 11:11 in the homeland. Just having so darn much fun. I'll get to you guys' comments about Giroux in a minute, but Jeff Cabillas is watching in Winnipeg, and he says, lollygagging. Haven't heard that one in a while. Lollygagging, dilly-dallying. What else? This is all hockey terms, I think, in a lot of ways. I remember Wayne Rogers, Milestone, Saskatchewan. Don't be dilly-dallying out of your zone with it. Get it off the boards and out. Right. Make that pass. Don't be dilly-dallying with it. Phrase came up last night. I told you the dinner party we were at in Dodge City. The phrase, gotta skate. What's that mean? We gotta go. We gotta skate.
Gotta move. Gotta skate. Got to get going.
You can imagine in South Florida that would not be common vernacular. Right?
No.
John in Edmonton, stop asking so many questions. Dan Saravelli, watching in New Jersey. He's a Flyers fan. Dan, the situation, Saravelli, writes in on a few things. He says, the Enterprise squad going to make the trip to a Panthers game. Well, Dan, I'll be here. You look me up. He goes on to say, I love Giroux, but I still believe Lindros and Clark are the best captains in Flyers history. Let's hear from the Philly crowd. You know, we're very big in Philadelphia, Darren. We've seen the analytics. Very big in Philadelphia where they carry us. I'm not sure the cable carrier there. I'd have to look it up. Nobody said that Claude Giroux was the best captain in Philly history. What we did say, and what you probably heard, is that he's the longest-serving captain in Flyers history at 10 years. Bobby Clark was, always will be the best captain in Philadelphia Flyers history because he captained them to back-to-back Stanley Cups. Lindros, yeah, Legion of Boom, I get it. We all saw it. He no Bobby Clark.
No, he's not.
So, yeah.
He was great, Hall of Famer. You know, won a Hart Trophy, I believe, in Art Ross, but didn't win a cup. Got close, but didn't win one.
John in Edmonton says, it's a fan active show, Rod, so yeah, fans can ask questions. Yeah, I'm just sick of your questions.
How about that?
Tony Cernick, watching in Estevan, says lollygagging was in the Bull Durham movie. Yeah, but we were saying it before that. We were saying it in like the 70s. Oh man, Nelson, the VP of Sim Events, writes in. He says, now we just need the East Coast to jump on their own CFL bandwagon and make it 10, as in 10 teams. Yeah, I'm personally tired of waiting for that. So you guys go figure it out. We're going to talk about other things. Now, having said that, I said we had viewer mail, Moose, and that I was going to wait until you came back to address it.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Stanton writes in, and I'm not sure where he's from. The title of his email is Calgary Flames ECHL team. And then in the email, it says, hi, Rod. Should the CFL create a minor league development league to give Canadian college football standouts a chance to play at a pro level and develop into being ready to play in the CFL? And this way give smaller sports market cities a chance to host a pro football team and also help create jobs throughout Canada? So what's your take? And as always, opinions, please. This from Drew Stanton, who clearly is a new viewer. He's just discovered us on Game Plus TV, but I don't know where he is. Because in the time we have left at this segment, can I just say I've been beating this drum for years to the point that I'm not beating it anymore. You know, we came up with a concept of the Canadian Arena League of Football, CAF, CALF. The viewers named it, but an indoor football. It's exactly what I've been saying for the last 5-6 years is what he's promoting. And I'll just say that there's a movement afoot for that to, in fact, happen. I'm not involved, and the Moose isn't involved, but we know the people that are involved. So to say, how do I feel about a minor league to develop pros for the CFL? We've only been saying it, Darren, for years.
Yeah, we have. You know, I think it's a great idea. The only issue that comes up, the only one is money, right? Is money. We know the salaries, you know, they're getting better in the Canadian Football League, which is exciting. But, you know, you're not going to be able to pay players that kind of money either. So that's the only issue is money and eyeballs. And can you create enough revenue to help it survive? You know, when we're a country of 4 million, that's the only issue. But it would be really exciting.
Yeah, well, as they often say, anything can be done. It just takes money. And in the absence of money, probably a little know-how, a little elbow grease, some luck. And we're putting all of those things into this show.
Yeah.
And it's paying off. I think there's a market to be had. And I think there's some success to be had for a minor league arena football league across Canada, but I'm not going to do it. I love the idea. Not my jam. We'll continue this, Moose, and look ahead to tonight. We'll recap what's gone on so far on the NHL Trade Deadline. We'll update the poll results when we come back. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus television network. You're also listening at rodpeterson.com, live streaming on YouTube. And if you missed any portion of the show, you can always catch the podcast on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming of the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Alice Cooper, the godfather of shock rock, is back. With special guest Buck Cherry. Mosaic Place, Sunday, April 10th. Get tickets now at mosaicplace.ca and sasktix.ca.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Peterson Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Peterson Show today.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I assume I'm on the screen. Hi, Moose.
Hi. You are.
Moose. I'm just making an Instagram poll from the show account at the Rod Peterson Show on Instagram. Does Fleury make Wild a cup contender? I guess I should put, does Fleury make Wild a cup contender? Yeah, that's the big trade of the day. Marc-Andre Fleury going to the Minnesota Wild for a conditional first-round pick. The question is, Does he make the Minnesota Wild a cup contender? And the fact of the matter is, they're going to be in the playoffs. So I would say, don't you think if you make the playoffs, all 16 teams in the playoffs are cup contenders? Don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, especially in hockey, when you get on a run, the margin from being at the top of the league to being a 15 or 16 team getting into the playoffs in one of the final spots, it's pretty small. So yeah, once you get in, you have a chance. But when we kind of have an idea who the real cup contenders are. I think Minnesota is one. Marc-Andre Fleury said he wants to play somewhere who has a chance to win, and that's Minnesota. I mean, you look at all the different options he maybe had. Edmonton's one. They're talking about, what's the urgency for the Oilers to make a move in net? I mean, they picked up Kulak on the back end, and then, maybe they were in the running for Marc-Andre Fleury, but their cap situation didn't really allow it. So there was a limited number of places Marc-Andre Fleury could go, and Minnesota is pretty lucky to have him.
Yeah, with Tacona Pauli watching in Winnipeg says the Wild were cup contenders without him. So for sure. You go back and watch hour one, Bill Lindsay saying between Cam Talbot and Marc-Andre Fleury, that is a pretty good tandem. I see guys writing in about the CFL discussing moving the hash marks closer together. Guys, I don't want to talk about that on NHL Trade Deadline Day. Not today. It's we'll save that for Football Fridays. Sports update. There are 4 games on the ice in the National Hockey League. The last place Montreal Canadiens search for their second straight win as they host the Boston Bruins tonight. The Oilers carry a 5-game win streak into Colorado. The Vegas Golden Knights travel to Minnesota, and they say the Flyers get a start for the Wild against the Golden Knights tonight. Like, how about that? And the Anaheim Ducks, looking to halt a 6-game losing skid, are at home to Nashville. Who thought the Anaheim Ducks were going to be a wet paper box? Thump. Bottom falling out.
Oh, no.
Here as we enter I was feeling pretty excited about my prediction to have them third in the Pacific Division. Well, turns out that's the LA Kings. I was 35 miles off. I don't know what the hell's happened to the Anaheim Ducks. They're going to be good. But you know what I think it is? And I should have known this, Darren. They're an extremely young team. The Sam Steeles and the Josh Mahuras and the Drysdales and the Zegrases, and they don't realize that's 82 games, boys. And that's what makes you a pro. That's what makes you an NHLer. They'll realize it, but they just realized it.
Yeah.
So they might be a good pick in the years ahead. I mean, that's what I see. What do you see out of Anaheim?
Yeah, young group, and it's really hard to win consistently in the NHL. You got to be really good and dialed in and focused, and this, we know they're good, and maybe they can get things together here down the stretch. But you kind of thought it was too good to be true for a while. Everybody thought, for the most part, that Anaheim, was going to be a team that was going to struggle to find their way a little bit, being so young. But you know what? We saw what they're capable of. We saw it, in the first half of the season, how good this team is going to be. So I wouldn't panic in Anaheim. I think everything's going to be okay. It just might not happen this year.
Kerry Einarson and Team Canada hope to improve on a 2-2 record when they face Denmark today at the World Women's Curling Championship in Prince George. Canada dumped Turkey 8-4 on Sunday before falling 11-3 to the Swiss. Swiss and Turkey. I'm getting hungry. Switzerland, Japan, and Korea enter day 3 of the tourney with perfect 3-0 records. Pardon me. Fred VanVleet is expected to be back in the lineup tonight when the Toronto Raptors visit the Chicago Bulls. The star point guard sat out last night's 93-88 win over Philadelphia with a knee injury. Toronto 1 game behind the Cavaliers in the battle for the number 6 seed in the NBA's Eastern Conference. The Raptors have won 6 straight road games. The Boston Red Sox have reportedly agreed to terms with former Colorado Rockies all-star shortstop Trevor Story in a 6-year, $140 million contract that would bring him to Boston to play second base. More baseball in a sec. Just tell you, Ballers Rec Room, check out our brand new line of games, and for the Tap Brewhouse and drive-through liquor store. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. One thing we have here in South Florida, Darren, is a thing called MLB Network. And I've been watching it a lot. And I'll be honest, What do you get? It's the power of the media. I'm getting soaked up in the MLB. And we've got spring training grapefruit baseball here in Florida, Cactus League in Arizona. You were just in Arizona. You went. We never have talked about that. You went and checked out some minor league parks in the Valley and Phoenix area. I've done that. It's amazing. Going to be checking out some spring training games here in Florida. When you get immersed in it, it just becomes part of you. You know, because the media is all over it because we're in Florida, and with the Vladdy thing, clearly you saw his quote about last season was just the trailer. This year is going to be the movie. And, you know, when Arash said that the Blue Jays are the betting favorites to win the AL East last week on this show, I looked it up. He wasn't just whistling Dixie. Bet Regal has the Blue Jays as the favorites to win the division. I'm into it. I don't know if they're going to win or not, but at least we have a reason to follow every day. And I assume you are.
Yeah, 100%, you know. And that's it. You got to give me a reason to follow and stay into it. And you know what? Yeah, it was a little fortunate that we were in Phoenix, you know, as spring training was opening. It was disappointing to know they were still in the lockout when we were going down there, but lucky enough it ended. We didn't get to see all of the pro players come in. It was more of the minor league guys that were getting started a day early, but got to spend some time around the facilities and with the guys, and you know, got to even speak to some of them, and you know, it makes you want to follow it, you know, a little bit more. And it's cool to be a part of it. And, you know, if the Jays are going to be good and you got a reason to watch them day in and day out, I think it's exciting. I think it's really exciting.
Jeff Kibulis in Winnipeg says, I saw Chapman crush a bomb against the Pirates. Man, the Jays bats are going to be lethal. That's why I wanted to read it in the warm-up, which I did. 10-4 Blue Jays over the Pirates in Dunedin on Sunday. They're 2-1 in spring training. People are paying attention. And that's the point, is these guys want to talk about the CFL moving their hash marks closer together. Come on, guys. Between that and 4 downs, that's really all the CFL has going right now, other than there was a comment here and Blue Bomber Brandon writes that he's watching on YouTube. He says the Colts are finalizing a trade for Matt Ryan, so we can get to that. Nelson Hackowicz says, Dupes, as a U Sports guy, who do you have your eye on as the CFL National Combine week opens? So I shouldn't say the CFL doesn't have much going other than hash marks and 4 downs, because they have the National Combine going. Who are you going to be watching, Moose?
Well, there's a few guys. I mean, obviously, from the Canada West.
Make it quick.
Offensive linemen. That's the big thing I'll watch. Offensive linemen, including a couple from the Prairies. So Edmonton and Saskatchewan have a couple of linemen in the Combine.
Right. I wanted to give you the opportunity to answer the question, but I don't want to spend any more time on it than that. Tacona Powley in Winnipeg, his real name's Paul. He says, Rod, can we talk hash marks on Friday? It's Monday, dude. Get back to me maybe on Thursday. They talk about Jake DeBrusk signing in Boston. Talk about fake news, man. Whatever happened to him asking for a trade out of Boston? Now they re-sign him. What changed? I asked that rhetorically. I don't think you know.
No, but, you know, I've been following the coverage, and, you know, one thought is that once you have the dollar figure, you know, set out, it might be easier to make a trade once the contract's been settled on. The other thing is they moved Jake DeBrusk up to the top line in Boston, and he's found a lot of renewed success. So maybe they think, oh, we had him in the wrong place all along. He needs to be up on our top line, and now we want to keep him here long term, and now he's a better fit for the organization. So I think that plays into it too for Boston.
Look at you. Great answer by you. And by the way, what a novel concept. An employee describes why he's disgruntled, and the employer does something to make him happy.
How about that?
John Ohm in Winnipeg says, not losing hope until the not-so-skinny lady sings. Go Jets, go. Well, I get it. They're your team, so you can't give up. The Winnipeg Jets aren't my team, so I gave up on them some time ago. And we talked about this in the warm-up in that, what are the Jets doing? They got Mason Appleton. Who else is left out there to get to augment your roster if you think you have something? We've heard it over and over and over again. The Jets like their group. I don't. But if you're a Jets fan, you have to. So no, John, you should not give up. But I'm just really happy, and I think that, as they say, God has great timing, that the Florida Panthers are going to go on this run, the Calgary Flames are going to go on this run, and this show is going back and forth between the two cities. Woo, that's going to be amazing. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over. Roger Yee is watching in Calgary, and he says, Foreigner was awesome at the Grey Eagle Boys. Thanks again for the tickets. See you back here in April. We'll be back at the Grey Eagle for our next residency beginning April 11th. Moose, anything else that I have? Like, we've covered literally everything today. Before you come back for overtime, anything else you want to talk about? Oh, there is. There is
a lot there.
Jeff in Winnipeg says, curling news, if anyone cares. Sorry, Jeff Cabellas. Caitlin Laws to skip her own team. Laws, McWish, Peterman, Nagovin. You had some curling stuff you want. You got 60 seconds. Let her rip.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Martin on the podcast over the weekend dropped all the news. Matt Dunstone's team is breaking up. He's going to curl in Manitoba. Gushu's got to make a move. Herdman is coming in as I think Brett Gallant is leaving. Kevin Cooey's team is breaking up. Our boy Ben Hebert is going to curl with Brennan Botcher this upcoming season. So all these teams are making moves, and Kevin Martin's coming under a little fire here for spoiling the surprise. The teams are saying that they should be able to announce it on their own. Well, I'm watching trade deadline coverage where the insiders are breaking trades before the teams have chances to formally announce it. That's what happens when you work in pro sports. And if you want curling to be a pro sport and money to grow and interest from fans to grow, these are the things that come along with it. And I know a ton of curling fans who are just mind blown of all the movement that's been happening.
Seismic shifts in the world of curling. And again, I'm all for it. And if you want to be big time, this goes with it. Sorry to say, you don't own your own news. And I saw Dunstone and Flash got ahead of it, announcing it on their Instagram accounts themselves. So maybe, guys, get your spit together, the other rinks that didn't, and stop complaining. By the way, some breaking news. Dan, UK, watching on YouTube, says, breaking news, Matt Ryan traded to the Colts, per Jay Glazer. The NFL grabs the headlines again. They never really left. We're going to be talking NHL Trade Deadline. No, William in Lloydminster says you can't talk football, Dan. No, that's NFL. We'll talk NFL. They're in the headlines with interesting stuff. It's a trade, William. Would you please pay attention to what we're doing here? We'll talk NFL. Interesting stuff going down. Or we're going to talk Trade Deadline with Jeff Paterson next. You're watching the RP Show on Game Plus Television Network, live streaming on YouTube and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Lot of sun, smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Peterson Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Peterson Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show, The Rod Peterson Show.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Peterson. Text 902-518-3033.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Peterson Show.
Thanks for checking in, everybody. It is your favorite daytime sports and entertainment talk program, episode number 720. Great timing on the text line, by the way. Ron Thompson, watching on Game Plus TV in Calgary, writes in and he says, Oilers still not traded for a goalie. I guess they want to golf this spring. I'm stunned. Joining us to talk about the NHL Trade Deadline out of Vancouver, longtime Canucks broadcaster, reporter Jeff Paterson, and if I may, Memorial Cup champion with the Kamloops Blazers. JP, looks like you are, you look like Radio Row at, you're in the press box there at Rogers Arena? Cool.
I am. I'm in the rafters, sort of. I like your backdrop, though, with the palm trees, so it's a little bit of a trade-off. Yeah. And look, yes, I broadcasted a Memorial Cup championship. Do not mistake me for a Memorial Cup champ. I had nothing to do with it, but I do hope I brought a little bit of something to the airwaves way back when.
Radio NL, but I know you have a ring. Before we talk about what the Canucks have done or not done, what about today's moves at Marc-Andre Fleury? Did you see him going to Minnesota? I did not. What do you think this does for the Wild?
Yeah, I didn't see it a week ago, but certainly over the weekend, that chatter seemed to emerge, and so I guess I'm not shocked. I thought the Wild looked like they were pretty solid in goal, but clearly Bill Guerin, with his connections to Marc-Andre Fleury from their time together in Pittsburgh, you know this as well as anybody, Rod. Hockey is it's played on the ice, but it's still a people business at the end of the day, and so there are those connections. And I guess Bill Guerin felt that he needed a little bit of an upgrade, so now you got Marc-Andre Fleury and Cam Talbot, and we'll see how far that goaltending takes them. I like a lot of what the Minnesota Wild have done. I like the acquisition of Nick Delorier the other day from Anaheim for a third-round pick. That's a big, strong team, and I know that the game is moving to speed and skill, but come playoff time, I think there's certainly, an area, an element of that physical nature that's required still to have success. So I like a lot of what the Minnesota Wild have going, and I like that addition. I think Marc-Andre Fleury, with his championship pedigree, he'll come in there, give them the kind of goaltending. Wouldn't it be rich and delicious if they could meet up with Vegas at some point in the postseason, although I think it would take a couple of rounds to get on a collision course there. So I'm not expecting that. But look, you don't go anywhere without goaltending in the playoffs. I heard you mentioning the Oilers. I am a little surprised that Ken Holland, and there's still time here, haven't done anything at the same time. One of the, I think, understated storylines in the NHL here over the last 3 weeks has sort of been the redemption arc of Mikko Koskinen in Edmonton as well. They're on a run. He's performing a whole lot better. At the same time, would I want to put all my chips to the middle on Mikko Koskinen as the Oilers guy come playoff time? No, not there yet. So it's a fascinating day around the National Hockey League, and I think we're just heating up here as we head to the final hour before the deadline.
No doubt, no doubt. And you mentioned Vegas, Minnesota. Will they meet? They do meet today, and it sounds like the flower is going to start for the Wild and Gold. Last I heard, the Canucks, what they've done or not done. Your analysis here over the weekend and up to this deadline day today.
Well, 2 weeks ago, there was some real excitement in this city. Since Bruce Boudreau took over, they have been on this remarkable run. When it looked like the season was flushed after 25 games, they had to make the coaching change, the whole housekeeping or house cleaning. And it's been a remarkable run to watch them have the success that they've had. They came home off a 3-1 road trip and had a 7-game homestand. Like, it all felt like it was right there in front of them to stay with this playoff pack, and they flushed the homestand. They won just 2 of the 7 games, 1 of the last 6, including a shutout loss to Detroit the other night, lost in overtime to Buffalo last night. And so I think the die has been cast, if you will, with 18 games to go. I don't think there's going to be playoff hockey here in Vancouver for yet another springtime. And, they had some success in the bubble in Edmonton back in the summer of 2020. Of course, those games were played in Edmonton, not here in Vancouver. So it's been a while since there's been playoff hockey played here at Rogers Arena. You got to go back to 2015. It feels like it's so overdue, but the wait will continue. So you saw them trade off Travis Hamonic yesterday. I thought that was a nice piece of business on the part of Jim Rutherford and Patrick Alvin to get out from under what was left of this year. But there was still $3 million for next season for Travis Hamonic, who had been reduced to a part-time player essentially here. A lot of that his own doing with his vaccination status earlier, but he got hurt and was out for a couple of months. So I was surprised that Ottawa was willing to take on the entire salary with no retention on the part of the Canucks, but I liked that deal. They turned one Travis into another, essentially getting Travis Dermott from the Leafs. He's a whole lot younger. He kind of fits the profile of what they're trying to build here, but it's not enough. There is a lot of work that's still required for this team to get where it wants to be, and so I think we're all sitting here eagerly anticipating the next hour or so. Tyler Mott's name surfacing an awful lot, a pending unrestricted free agent. I think that a number of teams headed to the playoffs could use a Tyler Mott kind of player. Also, Connor Garland's name has come up an awful lot here of late. Of course, he was acquired last summer, signed to a 5-year contract. It's been a bit of an underwhelming first season for Connor Garland, just 14 goals on the year, and he has gone 11 now without scoring at the wrong time of the season. So we'll see what happens here. But the Canucks need help. There's no doubt about it. There was the excitement of that playoff bubble that I referenced from 2020, and you kind of thought that maybe that was the start of something special here in Vancouver, but it's going to be 2 years in a row now without playoff hockey, and you do kind of wonder where this organization is going from here.
Well, as it turned out, that was a blip, but I have to say this. Massive hole dug at the start of the year for the Canucks. To be 3 points out, which is what I think it is as we sit here today, would give me a lot of optimism for the future with this regime of Rutherford and Boudreau. Is that how you guys are looking at it?
Well, again, there's pieces in place, and I go back to that bubble in 2020, and Elias Pedersen was a superstar in the bubble, a point-a-game guy in his first taste of playoff hockey. Bo Horvat rose to the challenge. JT Miller in his first year with the Canucks did a lot of good things. Quinn Hughes, that was his first taste of the playoffs as well. Certainly wasn't afraid of the big stage. But you look at what's happened since then, and some pieces obviously walked away in unrestricted free agency right after that. Jacob Markstrom, Chris Tanev, the Tyler Toffoli loss, I still think was a real blow to this organization. And so there are pieces here, but it's been a disappointing year for Brock Besser. It's been an underwhelming year for Elias Pettersson, who looks like he's battling through some sort of wrist injury now. And of course, that kept him out of the final 30 games last season. So, you just wonder, you say, well, there's lots of pieces here, but where have these pieces got the Vancouver Canucks over the last few seasons? And the answer is nowhere. And so it is a legitimate and a fair question to ask, is it the right mix? And I think that's what Jim Rutherford and Patrick Alvin are trying to figure out right now. Of course, they were brought in because what was happening here in those first 25 games, completely unacceptable. They won 8 times in the first 25 games. So Jim Benning and Travis Green and others lost their jobs. And I think Jim Rutherford, he's been at this long enough and has the Stanley Cup rings to show for it. He knows he was brought in to effect some change here. So, a couple of deals yesterday. I still think when the dust settles here on trade deadline day that the Canucks are going to be active ahead of the deadline.
Cool. JP, it's a busy day. I appreciate the time. Always good to see you, buddy. Glad things are going great, and good luck down the trail here the rest of the way.
Anytime, Rod. Thanks for having me on.
Jeff Paterson joining us right from Rogers Arena in Vancouver. By the way, got a new viewer here. Tim Manto writes in and he says, Florida is building a team to beat Tampa. Yeah, buddy. There's a lot of Lightning fans in this area that are now nervous. Brian Dodge. It's exciting what's going on with Florida. And the exciting thing, by the way, when I got in here on this weekend, the first thing I heard was people that don't even follow the Panthers at all or the NHL are now Panthers fans because of the hype that's going on in the Giroux trade. And I say, well, we've been here since day one, since September, since the preseason. And the Panthers know that, and they respect it, and it's going to be a fun run. And I don't expect they're going to blow it. Nuh-uh. Moose will join us to put a wrapper on things in overtime next. More viewer takeover for our friends at Taco Time. And we welcome all the new viewers. Let's hear from you in viewer takeover next. You can also text us at 902-518-3033. You're watching the RP Show live from South Florida on Game Plus TV, live streaming on YouTube, and 24-hour sports radio at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming, the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Grey Eagle.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
And the studio is South Florida. Beautiful, beautiful day down here. Everyone is. Come on. There's no Moose, and I don't know if we're going to get the Moose, and that's okay. He has been under the weather throughout the whole show. So you guys tell me if he rejoins us, but that's okay. I can handle it here in overtime, which is brought to you by the Four Seasons Sports Palace. You're home for the NHL and the UFC. And Trent in Norway just checked in. I don't have my Norwegian flag. I left it in Calgary, but he says, Norway here. Minnesota pulled off the trade of the season. I don't think the Leafs did enough on the blue line, but they got better. I predict an all-Florida conference final, but it's anyone's guess. That from Trent in Norway, and I'm glad that Trent, right on cue, Trent. That's what I wanted to talk about is this NHL Trade Deadline day, and the Greek Freak, the owner of the Four Seasons, Georgi Nitsos, watching, I'm sure. The Leafs pulling off the trade, acquiring Mark Giordano on the weekend. As we bring the Moose in, they tell me that he is there. The poll question, and I haven't updated the results. Clark, can you tell me in my ear? The poll question is this. Who's won the trade deadline? Who's improved their team the most? Who's leading? Florida. Thank you. He didn't give me a number. It doesn't matter. Florida's leading. We had Florida, Minnesota, Toronto, and Calgary. And I actually thought Calgary, Darren, would win this poll, but everybody's saying the Florida Panthers. And that's exciting. By the way, Ryan McCarthy watching in New York says, is it just me or is it Mondays that go by the quickest on this show? They all go by fast. I don't know the answer to that. Randy from the Peg says, he's asked multiple times. Any word on Ekblad's injury? The word on Ekblad's injury, Aaron Ekblad, is he's gone to long-term injured reserve. That's all we can say. But him breaking his right leg last year, don't think that didn't have an impact in a 7-game series against Tampa? Now this is his left leg, Moose. There's that. But let me just wind this up by saying, how excited are you about the Leafs with the moves that they've made?
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, you should be. For me, it's not really about making moves. It's about the core guys, right? We know the core guys, right? Whether it's Marner, Riley, Matthews, Nylander, those core guys have to get another year older, another year more mature, and they have to be able to deal with adversity in the playoffs. There's no doubt they're talented enough. But there's a lot of teams talented enough. You know, you need a little something extra when you get to the playoffs. So for me, it's about, are they a little bit more mature and can they take that next step? You know, that's what we'll find out come the spring. The moves are good. I'm fine. I'm happy with the group. And it's the same in Calgary, right? Is this group ready to win in the playoffs? You know, and the big one will be Johnny Gaudreau for Calgary, right? He's 4th in the league in scoring, which I think shocks a lot of people. But in a contract year, he's playing really well. Can he translate that into the playoffs? That'll determine if the Flames can make it or not.
Jennifer from the Four Seasons says, unfortunately, I don't think the Oilers are going to do anything else today. Ugh. She actually referred to them as the Oil, so you know that she is a hardcore fan. I would be very upset if I was an Edmonton Oilers player. That's all I can say. I don't care that Koskinen is on a roll, and they've won 5 in a row going into tonight's game. He's not good enough, and everybody knows it. Jason in Red Deer says, time to extend the show to 3 hours, guys. LOL. Hey, you want to pay me for 3 hours? I'll do 3 hours. I'd be more than happy to be paid a third more. But we'd have to talk to our television partners. We'd have to talk to the Moose, Darren Moose DuPont. And by the way, on the trade, the NFL trade, we got to spend a minute on that. The Indianapolis Colts acquiring Matt Ryan from the Falcons for a 3rd-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem like a lot to me, Moose. What do you think?
Yeah, it doesn't. And they're wondering, you know, if it was the Falcons that, you know, couldn't get a deal done. Well, I'm, you know, reading Adam Schefter on Twitter. Matt Ryan never asked the Falcons for another contract, for an extension on his deal. So he was ready to move on from Atlanta. And the Colts are a team that's built to win now. They've got, a strong offensive line. Their defense is pretty good. Got a safety valve in Jonathan Taylor in the backfield. I think, they become a threat, the Colts do, in the AFC South. So it's a big move. It changes the landscape. And now you start to wonder, okay, well, that's one destination that guys like Jimmy Garoppolo now aren't going to go to. So the quarterback musical chairs is going to be a little different now moving forward.
Yeah, but a ton of fun to follow. And, that's what we're going to be talking about. I mean, I've been down here 2 days now, but not totally 48 hours. And it's just been NFL, NFL, NFL. Little Panthers, NFL, NFL, NFL. That's the wonderful thing about the NFL is in South Florida, they're excited about talking about Deshaun Watson. And where's Baker Mayfield going to go? That is a national league, right, where it's not just regional. The NHL is a regional league. They're not talking about the Marc-Andre Fleury Minnesota trade here, right? They're talking about the Panthers. Right, and that's the difference. I don't think fans understand that. By the way, with the Oilers not doing anything, I don't think you were on with me here off the start. Would you not be disappointed if you were an Edmonton Oiler player? Forget the fans, a player. I would go, I'm sorry, we only have a minute left, but I saw some player at a podium talking about his team making moves here. I think it was in the NBA. And he's like, yeah, our GM wants to win. I think it was the NBA. That's how they look at it. If I'm the Oilers, I'm thinking, what's our GM doing?
I know, but there's not a lot of cap flexibility. They're kind of up against it when it comes to making a move. We'll see if Ken Holland can get creative here in the final couple of hours, but it's going to be tough.
Well, if they haven't done it by now. Moose, thanks for toughing it out. Go crawl under the covers, my friend.
You got it.
I'm not too sure what we got coming up tomorrow. Follow our social media channels, unless you want to yell at me in my ear right now, Clark. Nothing to... Follow our social media channels, and we'll talk to you tomorrow at noon Eastern here on Game Plus. Angering people is a gift of mine.
How about that? Right on. I like it.